Greetings and salutations, comic book conversationalists. This is Comic Book Hangover. My name is Scott, and we have 2 weeks worth of comic books to talk about. As I said, I did a post that I wasn't going to do a video last week, and that was because the books that I picked up this week, while there was a couple of them, I think there was maybe one or two that I'm actually going to read or that I have actually read. The rest are reprints and that sort of thing. So it wasn't going to be a whole lot to talk about this week. So I decided to, instead of having a short video this week, excuse me, to just do a longer video this week and just put the 2 weeks together. So let's start off with some of the books that I picked up last week. Actually, these were all the books I picked up last week. We have Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong #4. I picked up the Godzilla cover. I'm a big Godzilla fan, as I'm sure those who have been watching these videos for a while have noticed. So as a big Godzilla fan, I'm only picking up the covers where Godzilla is front and center. All the other covers I don't really care for. So I grabbed this one. I also picked up last week Spider-Man 2099, #3 of 5. This is featuring Werewolf by Night 2099. Now, I know the title actually says Miguel O'Hara 2099 of Spider-Man, but I don't understand why we're suddenly having to call this Miguel O'Hara Spider-Man 2099. It's just Spidey 2099, and that's where it's going to go in my collection. I am completely ignoring this Miguel O'Hara nonsense. But this is also supposedly if you're going by legacy numbering, supposedly this is the 100th issue. So we just had a regular issue for it. I remember when Marvel used to actually celebrate milestones. Now to them, a milestone is another first issue for a series. Also last week, I grabbed the Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars #1, a facsimile edition. I think I have the original of this, and I've got a trade paperback for it. But as much as I know that this series is an important miniseries event maxi series event for Marvel, I have never been able to read this thing from cover to cover as far as like in trades. I've never been able to do it. I always get partway through and I get bored out of my mind with it. So this time, what Marvel is doing is they're reprinting the entire 12-issue maxi series as a facsimile reprint run. And so I'm going to read it probably the way it was intended to be read, as a month-by-month issue. So I haven't read this one yet. I haven't been able to sit down and get into it yet, but I'm going to be reading these as they come out. And actually, I'm going to treat these, since these are facsimiles that I am going to be reading and they're coming out every month, I'm going to be treating these as a regular new comic book pickup. So we'll see how that goes. And probably my biggest book from last week, the one I looked forward to more than any other book, Cobra Commander #1 of 5. I grabbed the regular cover for it because that's just awesome. I like the arc in the background. I love it. And I also grabbed this variant cover just because it's Cobra Commander. And I wanted to have more than one cover for that. And the last one that I picked up last week was the Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong Monster Science Edition #1. Now this features, there was a variant covers for Action Comics and Detective Comics that featured half of this. So this was the cover, a variant cover for Action Comics. I don't remember what issue number it was. I didn't pick it up, but they had that one, and then they did this cover for the Detective Comics, and they go together. So I picked this up, and this one, if it'll fit, I kind of want to put it in a frame so I can see the whole cover, because the whole idea of Batman and Superman thinking that they're going to actually do something against Godzilla and Kong. I just love that that just attempt at failing something. It's great. That's awesome. So those are the books that I picked up last week. This week I got Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099 #4 of 5. This one featuring Terror Inc., or I guess Terror Inc. 2099. So we got that one. I also grabbed the variant cover for it because I'm a huge fan of Terror. From his Terror's first appearance in Terror number. Actually, I think his first appearance was in a Daredevil book, and I got that. But then he had his own 12-issue series, I think like 92, 93, somewhere around there. But that's a really cool character. I really liked it. I also grabbed Transformers #3, second print. Some Decepticon goodness there. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers #16. This is part of the Darkest Hour. Again, I'm not reading this. I'm just grabbing these zombie variant covers because they're awesome. I love those. Look at that. The detail on these covers is great. I love these to no end, and I'm looking forward to being able to put them all in frames and hang them up on my wall. I also grabbed this one here. It's a one shot. It's a movie adaptation, Not Zilla. This is a movie that it's on one of those free streamers. It's on like Tubi or Pluto's, probably Tubi, I think is where I saw it. But it's on a free streamer, and it's a purposely low budget sort of having fun with the idea of these Godzilla type monster movies. And this features Not Zilla. This guy here, he hatches from an egg, and he's a regular sized monster, or he's a small monster, a little baby monster, but if he's given beer, he grows to monstrous sizes. And of course, he's given beer, and we've got this whole thing here. Now, I haven't had a chance to crack this open. It's a rather thick issue. I mean, look how thick that is. But the movie's a lot of fun. It's great. If you're wanting to see something that's just people just having fun. I mean, yes, there's points in there where you can see the zipper, you can see the strings, you can see all the stuff, but that's all intentional. It's part of the fun. And speaking of Godzilla, I also picked this up. This is it was in preview, so I ordered it from my LCS, and this is the Godzilla and Godzilla Raids Again novelization. So it's a novelization of the first two movies, and first time translated into English. So it's the first American release for this. And this is one of those things, as much of a Godzilla fan I am, I'm not really, I'm a huge fan, but I'm not overly obsessed with it. So, I mean, I don't have a bunch of stuff for Godzilla. I have my fair share of it. This I never knew existed. So when I saw this, I had to get it. It's only $20. It's $19.95 cover price. But I started reading it, and it is really interesting way of seeing the movie from a different perspective. I think Godzilla came out in 54. This was published in, I think, 55 for the Godzilla one. So I'm looking forward to really diving into it. So those are the books that I picked up over the last 2 weeks. And the ones that I want to talk about, first off, let's do spoiler warning. So here's your spoiler warning. And also, before we get into these, if you're enjoying my videos, if you're enjoying my content, which I don't really have a lot of things, but I'm coming up with other ideas. One thing I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do on YouTube, but over on TikTok, I'll be going through my dad's records, and he's got a bunch of 45s, and I love spinning some 45s. I love spinning platters. It's a lot of fun. I like to sit there and just listen to music. And I thought, what would be kind of cool is just to set up my phone on TikTok and have it pointing at the record, and put the needle on the record and just let it play, and just record that and make that a video. And so we can just enjoy some music from time to time, on there. So it's not something I don't think I can do on YouTube, because YouTube has this idiotic copyright nonsense where I think one of my TikTok videos, I used a Weird Al Yankovic song for it, and I posted it here on YouTube, and it didn't really get a copyright strike. It just basically said that due to copyright issues, this video with this song cannot be played in some country in Germany or some area of Germany. I'm like, that's not what I'm doing these videos for. I don't really care. Thank you for letting me know. I guess I'll be careful, because I don't want to break the copyright laws in whatever Germany, but it's ridiculous. So I'm not sure if I can do those videos here on YouTube. I may do one or two just to see how the YouTube algorithm reacts to it. We'll see. But over on TikTok, I'm planning on doing these videos just for fun. And like I said, I'd like to be able to do them here because I want to do more content and different stuff on this channel. So, but that said, of course, like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. And let's talk about a couple of books that I picked up, because there's two in particular that I really want to talk about. And that, of course, is going to be Cobra Commander #1. Just like with Starscream, I'm going to start it this way. Because when I do my reviews, I don't really have them planned out. I just get the book, I read the book, and then when I get on these videos, when I start recording it, I make it up as I go along. So they're not polished, they're not professional. It's just me off the cuff talking about these books. Now, first thing I want to talk about with Cobra Commander is, just like with Starscream, this is not the same Cobra Commander that we are used to from the animated series. He's not a coward. He's not willing to back up really easily. This guy is a cold-blooded killer. This guy is awesome, this version of it. Now, the one thing I did not like about this is it starts with Cobra Law. And I know there's two camps of G.I. Joe fans, and I'm more of a Transformers fan than a G.I. Joe fan, but when it came to G.I. Joe, I watched it for Cobra Commander. He was my favorite character. When they did G.I. Joe the movie, they did his origin, and they did this whole Cobra Law nonsense. I didn't like it at all. I actually like the idea of not knowing where Cobra Commander came from. He's one of these characters that I like not knowing his origin. I like not knowing who he is or what he is or whatever. He's just this guy in this awesome mask, sometimes a hood, which apparently he's not allowed to use the hood anymore because it's something about white supremacy or something. The dude's a terrorist. He's trying to take over the world and he's willing to kill people, but he can't wear a hood because that might bring it into white supremacy. It makes no sense. People are stupid and they're ruining our fun stuff because of their stupid mentality. But that aside, this guy, he's from Cobra Law. But that's the beginning of it. You kind of get an idea of how he ended up outside of Cobra Law. And you see just like this guy is ruthless. This guy is vicious. This is the Cobra Commander that I like, just like with Starscream, where he's willing to kill other Decepticons in order to use their parts to bring back specific Decepticons. And he's squishing humans in his hand. It's awesome. This Cobra Commander is willing to kill whoever he needs to kill to get what he wants done. And it's great. I mean, I don't want to get too much into specifics on it, but I'm just saying I was really surprised and really entertained with this book. I cannot wait to see where it goes. And I may pick up the second print if they have a second print with a cool picture of Cobra Commander on it. But Cobra Commander #1 lives up to expectations. We've got, Void Rivals, great little series. I'm hoping that they'll pick up the pace on it. It's a great series, but they need to pick up the pace. A little bit more action, a little less talking. Transformers, amazing series, the best of the Energon universe right now. Duke is really entertaining, not as good as Transformers. I would say if I were to rank them from lowest to highest, it would be Void Rivals, Duke, Cobra Commander, and Transformers. Right now, these Transformers and Cobra Commander, two favorite books. But Cobra Commander, great read, great, a lot of fun. The other one I want to talk about is Spider-Man 2099 #4. I love Terror Inc. He's one of my favorite characters. Now, one thing I was curious about with this is which origin of Terror are they going to use, or which version of Terror are they going to use? Because there's different versions of this character. The first one was called Shrek, and he appeared in the Shadowline Epic, the Marvel imprint series Epic. They had this line of books called the Shadowline Saga, and there was one series, St. George, and Shrek, who looks like Terror, first appeared in there. Now, Shrek and Terror, they had this metal hand. Shrek's metal hand was on the right, and Terror's metal hand is on the left. So Shrek was in there, same power, same deal. And then somehow and apparently one of the writers said that he somehow figured out a way to get into the 616 universe and set himself up as Terror. But Terror has the metal hand on the other side. Instead of it being right hand, it's on left hand. And his mentality, his temperament is a little different than Shrek's was. But then there's the Max version, the Marvel Max version of Terror, who has the origin of him being a barbarian at one time and killed some sort of a cursed animal and became cursed himself, and that's how he became Terror. And that version doesn't have the trademark spikes sticking out of his head. This version of Terror, they start off with the Max origin, where he was a barbarian, he fought some cursed bear or something, but he ends up with the spikes on his head, so it's kind of mixing the Max with the 616. But then there's also a part in the book where he makes a reference to where he used to be called Shrek, which brings in the Shadowline Saga version of the character. So it's kind of, I guess we're bringing it all together, but and at the end of the day, at the end of the story, so far of these first 4 issues, this is my favorite one, because Terror, he was written it was a little uneven at the beginning, but he references being in the Marvel 616 universe. They show him teaming up with Wolverine, which him and Wolverine had a history. They knew of each other for a long time, but Wolverine never liked to deal with him. Like Doctor Strange knew about him as well. Daredevil interacted with him a few times. So he makes references to that. What's really interesting is the parts that he uses now. He sources from superheroes. Like he has Gorgon's leg. He has, I think it was Laura Kinney's foot. at one time has a spike or something coming out of it. He has the female Ghost Rider's flaming hand. So he survived the superhero era of the Marvel universe, and he picked his parts from the different superheroes, I guess, as they were being killed or as they were, after they were killed. He went in and sort of procured their parts. He even has the Thing's hand, which I thought was kind of weird. But if you're a fan of Terror, who is not a very well-known character, unfortunately, but if you are a fan of Terror, this is definitely a book you want to check out. Now, this whole mini-series, each issue is Miguel dealing with different monsters from the modern era, like future iterations of them, but they're not connected. The stories aren't connected really at all so far. They might come together with the next issue with Man-Thing, but right now they're all standalone. So if you are a fan of Terror and you just want to read a new Terror book that's written fairly well, you're gonna want to check this out. I like I said, I enjoyed it. Usually these books I will sort of speed read through them, but this one I took my time and I very much enjoyed it. So that is that. Now let's talk about cover of the week, and we're gonna go with. Hold on. Yes. We're going to go with variant cover this week, Cobra Commander #1, because this Cobra Commander cover, I love it. This is the Cobra Commander that I like. This is the Cobra Commander that I know, and this is what I'm going to do for my cover of the week. So there you go. Thanks for watching. I'm going to wrap this up real quick. We're already at over 16 minutes, 17 minutes on this. I like to keep these kind of short. So again, thanks for watching. Thanks for continued support. Getting new subscribers. I'm loving it. Please subscribe, like, comment. Definitely comment down below. I'd love to get in conversations with different people about different comic books. I love it. And share the video, do all that fun stuff, and check me out on TikTok. I got all kinds of comic book related videos there. I'm getting real close to being able to get my books out of storage. When I do that, I'm going to have more videos. I'm going to start going through my books and sharing what I have with everybody else. So that said, everybody have a great weekend. Coming up, yeah, we guess have a great weekend. Hope everyone had a great new comic book day. We got a 5th week next week. Another small week next week for me, so I may not do a video. I might hold them over until the 1st week of February, so we'll see. But as said, everybody have a great weekend. We'll see you all next time.